So I was a single parent with a couple of teenage boys, and I was working full-time with Monterey School District. I'm a school nurse. I was a school nurse for 30 years, still doing some of that. And I needed time off to write my master's thesis and didn't have enough time to do that, so I got permission to get Wednesdays off to go up to San Jose to the library because we didn't have internet then. And right after I got the permission, I asked the superintendent, Dolores Nielsen from Monterey County Office of Education called me and wanted me to help compile, collect, work with the drug survey that Dr. Skager was conducting in the county at their request. And I always wanted to work for the County Office of Education. So of course I took that day off from the library and went to the Office of Education. They said, before you do anything, you call Dr. Skager and make sure you're doing it the way he wants it done.
See, she called me first.
I did. So I called UCLA and I got a hold of Dr. Skager. And the first thing was his voice was really, and he just sounded really like a nice guy. And I was single anyway, and I'd broken up with someone, or he broke up with me. But anyway, so I was kind of ready to meet someone anyway. I have to be honest about that. But you really were really interesting, and I liked the work I was doing, and we just talked a little bit, and it just you go from there.
Well, it didn't. I tried.
Tell
It
about
happened.
The survey.
Oh, I used to do a drug survey of.
You wrote it.
Yeah. Well, I adapted it from something going on in the psychology department, but yeah, I got the Attorney General got interested in it, and I did a survey for the whole state of drug use among 7th, 9th, and 11th graders, and that's what got me into Monterey to do a survey. Although I think I may have done that before I did the whole
You had
state.
done it before, once before, and they were
yeah.
doing it again a few years later to compare the
And
rates.
so Nancy was a little footloose and fancy-free or something at the time, and being separated from a broken marriage, and this gal got Nancy to do the hunchering, to call the districts and arrange things, pick up the survey, that sort of thing.
So I had 12,000 surveys in my living room that he
Just
came up to
12,000.
pick up. He said, don't mail them, which I was planning on doing.
Because I got interested in her.
He said, don't mail them, I think I'll come up and pick them up. So we all went to dinner with my boss from MCOE, and he came up a couple of months later after he took his family to England to visit his then deceased wife's family in England, and he said, no, when I get back, I'd like to come up and take you to dinner. Well, we were engaged 4 days later.
And my son was so disturbed by this that he started calling friends and said, "You think Dad's all right? Has he been acting peculiar?" But I simply said, well, when you're my age, you know what you like. I've been around enough, you know.
And we
what
could
you
have
like.
gotten married that week.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have made any difference.
Yeah.
We waited a year for various reasons, but it's been great. 22 years.